Hi, and in today's Microsoft Word tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create this colourful header in Word. It means that once you've created this header, then as soon as you go on to the next page or create a page break, this header will simply appear on every single page. And it's not always easy to figure out how to introduce these colours. So let's just get rid of all this text. So the first thing to note is how to get into your headers. So the easiest way that I do it is to simply take my cursor to the very top of my page and double click. And there I've entered straight into my header. Of course, everything I do here you can do in a footer as well. As a default, our header is about 1.25 centimeters from the top of your document. Now, if you want to change this, then all you need to do is to go over to your rulers. If you can't see your rulers, go up to View and down to Ruler and just make sure it's checked. And then if you move your cursor over to the ruler, you can see that it changes to a double-headed arrow when you hover between the white section here and the grey section here. Once it does that, just click and then you can drag and just pull the header down, and this will increase the size of your header. Once you're happy with the size of your header, you can go ahead and start to introduce your text. Now, in order that text can be aligned and moved wherever you want it in a header, instead of using the cursor and typing everything out and then using a space bar or a tab key to move it, I always use text boxes. They're so much more flexible. So if you go up to Insert, along to Text Box, click on the drop down and select Draw Text Box. Then just click and drag anywhere in your header. Now, by default, all text boxes come with a white background and a black border. So if there was a colour on this section here, this box would be white. Now we want to get rid of that, and we want to get rid of the black border. So highlight the text box, make sure you're on Shape Format, go along to this icon here, which is the Shape Outline, click on the drop down and select No Outline. Then go along to Shape Fill, click on the drop down and select No Fill. Then click again inside your text box and then just type your text. Now I need to highlight mine and change the font, so I'm going to click on Command or Control A. Then I'm going to go to the Home tab, and then I'm going to choose the font box here and then just type the font that I want. As you can see, I type, it'll come up with my selection. Just press Enter. Then I'm going to increase my text size by using the Increase Font Size tab here and just click until I'm happy with the size. Once I've done that, I'm going to be a little bit more creative. I'm going to select the first name and I'm just going to put that into bold. The final thing for me to do is to align the name over to the right, because I want everything aligned over to the right and lined up with this margin. So again, having selected the text, make sure I'm on the Home tab and I'm going to go to the Align to Right tab here. And now I can just reduce the size of that text box. Now, because I formatted my text box, got rid of the background and the border, I just want to copy and paste this. You can either use copy and paste by using Command or Control C to copy and Command or Control V to paste, or I generally, once I've selected my text box, hit your Alt or Option key on your keyboard, then just click and drag. As you can see now, I've duplicated that text box. I'm just going to click off and just click back on to select this lower text box. I'm going to extend it because the type here is going to be a little longer. Click again inside my text box, Command or Control A, and then just go ahead and type in some more text. Now we're going to change the font again, so Command or Control A to select the font. Go back up to the font box here, begin to type, and then press Enter. We just stretch those out. Perfect. Now, to ensure that these two are perfectly lined up, click on the bottom text box, hold your Command or Control key, click on the top text box, go up to Shape Format, go along to Align, click on the drop down and select Align to Right. That will just ensure that these two text boxes are perfectly aligned, and therefore your text will be as well. The next thing I'll do is to introduce a logo. So again, my cursor is in my header is selected. Go to Insert, and then Pictures, Picture from File. I'm going to select my logo, click Insert. Now if your logo comes into Word like this, don't panic, just reduce the size of it. And what you will find is a little bit clunky and it doesn't necessarily move around. Now to fix that, make sure it's selected, make sure you're on picture format, go along to Wrap Text, click on the drop down and select In Front of Text. As you can see, your header line jumps back up to where it should be, and now you can just go ahead and resize your logo and put it exactly where you want. Okay, so now we've got our text and our logo, we want to introduce a colour. So go up to Insert, along to Shapes, and then go down to this square here. And then hover your cursor, which is now a cross, into the top left corner. Click and then drag all the way across and then down to your header line. Now don't worry if the shape overlaps, because as you can see it will be cut in accordance with your page. Now all of the shapes also come with a border and a fill colour, so those are the things that we now have to adjust. But before I do that, I'm just going to send this whole shape to the back, which means that we'll be able to see our logo and our text. So make sure it's highlighted, make sure you're on shape format, go along to Send Backwards, click on the drop down and select Send to Back. And now it's at the back, we can now see our text and our logo. Now in order to be creative, we're going to select the Format pane menu. Now you can access that by either double clicking on the shape or selecting it, going to the Shape Format tab and going along to Format pane. Here we have Fill and Line. So the line refers to the border, and we can go down and select No Line. And then we've got Fill, which is obviously the fill colour. Click on the drop down and we're going to select Gradient Fill. Now because I've already rehearsed this, you can see my colours are already here. So let's just run you through what I've done here. So you've got your gradients here, which you can select from a variety. You've also got the type of gradient, and they're simply something that you can play around with. You can have the direction. Apologies you can't see it all, but you can have different directions of your gradient. So at the moment I've got left to right, but of course you can choose from these slightly more creative ones as well. Now importantly, here are your colours. When you selected it, so if I click on this one, you can see it now has a little orange outline. You can now go ahead and select the colour. So go down to Colour, click on the drop down, and then you can select from the colours available here, or you can go down to More Colours, click on More Colours, and then you'll have your colour wheel. You can select from a number of different options at the top here. You can move this cursor around here, and this little box here will show you the colour you've selected. Alternatively, you can use this eyedropper tool. So if you wanted to select a colour from your logo, you simply move the circle over your logo and select a colour of your choice. That colour will then appear in this square here. Click on OK, and then it will change this colour here. So let's just change it to red, for example, and you can see how it changes that gradient. You can also move these stop points if you wanted more green, or you wanted more pink, or you wanted the gradient to be a bit more harsh. It's completely up to you. So once you're happy, you can assess whether this is lined up properly, and I can see here that this element here isn't quite lined up with my margin. So I can grab this text box here, hit my Command or Control key, grab this text box here. Then I can go up to Group, select the drop down and select Group, which now means I can move these two elements round as one. And then I can just grab my cursor and move it along until I'm happy it's lined up here. Now I'm going to ungroup them and just finally change my text colour. So I'm going to go to the top one here, put my cursor in, Command or Control A, go to the Home tab, go to the font colour, click on white, go to the bottom one, again put my cursor inside the text box, click on white, oh I should have selected all, click on white, and now I've changed that font colour. So now I think I'm just going to increase the size of this font here. So double click, Command or Control A, Home tab, increase font size. Then I'm just going to move that down a bit, use my arrow key, and then just zoom out. Perfect. Now this will obviously apply to all the different pages of your document. So if I double click off my header by clicking in the main part of my document, then if I go to Insert and select Break, you can see because I've put my cursor at the top of the page, it's inserted a break to the page beforehand. But you can see if I wanted another page, then that header will appear on every single one of my pages. So I hope that's helped you today. If it has, please subscribe and have a great day.